Freestyle in the beginning. We're gonna let Mark and Trev sing. Mark and Trev gonna sing in the beginning, and that's it.
Girl, you look.
Is your shit charging? Yeah.
Huh?
Yours.
Girl, you look like later.
No chords, no jigs.
I think it looks okay. Oh, she look hella like.
Mic check 1 2 1 2. Mic check
I'm off the
1
press.
2.
This is
What is
represent
this?
me.
Santon is back to business. Let's go.
Turn-
Alright,
Turn my headphones
don't
up.
watch me. Watch TV.
All right.
Try to listen. I can hear myself.
You already got the
Oh,
mix.
you're like sort of not in the second one.
Oh,
The bottom one, I was
do I gotta
He
go
just
back?
moved?
Forward?
that way.
This way?
Just knock over Trevor's
Right
screen
here?
so it
Yeah.
works the electronics.
Let me
We're
move
forced to
the
go
mic
home.
just a little bit. Alright, is that better?
Yeah.
There you go, the mic closer.
I hope that Houston Tiger consequence from New York and Bucks, Trevor.
You talking real crazy right now.
You haven't seen that story on Twitter, Trevor?
Is that okay? Am I still okay?
The Latino nigga that killed somebody and did the race with his tiger, and then he left the tiger.
Oh, you mean over at Houston?
Yeah.
This man said over here.
What if an animal made it all the way? That would be ridiculous.
I mean, we've had
The likelihood is probably close to zero.
We've had bears and other types of shit.
Some weird demon probably shot him for his little beach property or his Wisconsin mansion.
Take you out this club.
Somewhere out in Wisconsin.
Cause you
Alright.
look so good.
You ready?
Tell me why you wanna work.
That beat used to sound crazy through the Xbox. That
Ready?
beat sound crisp as fuck.
Yo, matter of fact, here, Lowe's, move that way just a little bit.
Move down?
Yeah, just that way.
Oh. But then,
Alright, so we can hear everybody.
Yeah? Is everything okay?
I believe everything's alright.
Yeah, Lowe's going crazy with that shit. Move over just a little bit.
You're on the court, bro.
I'm just trying to get in, man.
oh, that's why I was like,
That's good, big deal, boy.
back then, hoes didn't want me. That's the ultimate incel song.
Is that better?
Yeah.
You would do that as cameras are connected to the table.
Thank you kindly.
We only got 2 tracks.
They're running right now, getting the whole stereo in.
You good? Are you ready?
Let's see.
Can you hear yourself?
Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
This is the longest we've ever taken to get ready.
Hello?
You were young watching a master
Yeah.
Dedication 2.
Did you get out?
I ain't even gonna wait on him. I'm gonna get him now. My block pumping in him.
Is that recording?
The whole pumping. If
that
niggas
recording?
listen, then
Alright, so ready?
get him, get him, get him.
Yeah, we can just try.
I can hear Lowe's.
Yeah, but try.
Alright.
My block pumping in him.
So-
Keep that open.
Let's get it rocking.
Ready? A blue lady.
Can I hear myself?
Alright, so
Do we have our
It's
intro
coming in and out. Just not
Yeah.
my sound in my ear.
Huh?
It's coming in and out. Like I heard myself say blue, but then the rest was hello, 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 hello. It's on your end. You can't kind of take it off like that. Just let it go, please.
Hello. That's better. I'm sorry, like that.
It's coming in and out. Yeah.
longest time we ever taken to get ready cameras. Just so y'all know.
Back again.
Is it recording yet?
Okay, cool.
Is it recording?
Yes.
Everybody can hear themselves being
I
recorded?
can hear myself.
Can you hear yourself being recorded?
Just
Yeah, yours is fucked up.
It's this thing. It's racist against
Alright,
us.
hey,
what
what
the
the
fuck?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm good. I'm good.
Did you hear yet?
Nigga, I went deaf in my left ear. That shit
I'm
not
good.
okay.
Los, you finally good?
Yeah.
Alright, I can hear myself. I can talk now. I can. Yeah.
Are you good now?
Everybody good. Alright.
Alright.
Alright, bet. Who's gonna start the intro?
I got you.
Okay.
Alright.
Love. All that.
You gotta be careful with this because
If I move too much, it's gonna fuck
it goes
with
all
my
the way
way.
in.
That joint definitely fall.
Okay, it's that stuff. Which part of it?
Back then, they tend artists now, not they don't know. Back then.
This mic's picking.
Alright, so today we're gonna talk about DeFi and what DeFi is. Alright. How many guys know what DeFi is? You don't know? Do you know what DeFi is? Nah? You know a little bit something about DeFi. Why don't you give us a little breakdown on what DeFi is?
Decentralized finance.
Decentralized finance. That's big right there. Decentralized finance. What does that mean to you?
I'm waiting to be educated.
Alright, you know what decentralized finance? You had to guess, what do you think it would be?
I have a broad stroke idea of what decentralized is.
Give me what you got.
Well, it's something that the banks are not. Like Joseph, well, that's a clothing store. Fuck you playing with? Decentralized is just no real, well, again, it's a broad stroke.
Not a single entity.
Right.
It's multiple nodes on a network.
I can't hear you, what you say?
Multiple
I
nodes
can't hear you,
on a
what'd you say?
network.
So there's multiple nodes on the network, it's decentralized.
There's not
He
one
said something
particular
about the
node.
government, so what does that have to do with the government?
Did I?
You said something, you said, you said the banks, right?
Yeah.
So he said banks, so what do banks have to do with that?
Banks are gonna die.
Why?
These-
Nah, I agree with you, banks are
these-
gonna die, but why are they gonna die
These
based on this?
decentralized protocols in the DeFi space are going to basically cut out banks. You got automated market makers, you got lending protocols, you got insurance protocols. They'll be the
Oh, that's a
ones-
lot. So you said automated,
Market makers.
what does that mean?
So a market maker in traditional finance would basically make sure that, when you place a buy order, there's some liquidity. They get paid by the exchanges.
Oh, so that's the blockchain?
No.
No, I want to know. Like, tell me, because I don't know. Because a blockchain, that's automated, right? And that's automated. Things happening. Automated ledger. Automated list of who's in and out, right? So is that what you're talking about? Is that similar or different or what?
What's different? An automated market maker has nothing to do with the blockchain.
Okay, so
It's-
put me on.
it's
What's
an
an automated
algorithm.
market maker?
Like I said, it's an algorithm, and it would match your desire to buy or sell, and bring liquidity to your to your order. So if you're looking to buy, it'll match you. It'll market. It'll find another order that will fit your bids basically. So if you're looking to buy 500 coins, the automated market maker would fulfill your order, and then you would basically get to pick the slippage, 1%, 2%, whatever, And that way, if you buy 500 coins at $1 and you pick the slippage of 2%, you might buy it at $1 or 1 cent or $1 or 99 cents. The slippage is only 2%. So that's how much the price the spread can be.
So what does that mean to you?
Not much. It was very confusing.
Okay, so I understand, because to me that's also very confusing. I understand it because I like to dabble in stocks and whatnot, so I understand the ask and the bid price and orders having to get filled when you're trying to buy and sell different stocks. So that's how I make myself, or how I'm able to understand it, is through that process. Is that similar, or is that?
So in traditional finance, right, a market maker is someone that's providing liquidity for the order book. The order book is people selling and people buying.
So when I'm buying and selling, there's no trader. So there's no Wolf of Wall Street guy out there actually handling the order.
In DeFi, yeah, the automated, yeah, like the decentralized exchange has an automated market maker.
Does that make more sense? Like, there's no middleman. The middleman is, Wolf of Wall Street type. You've seen the traders on different movies.
Traditional
It's like
finance,
there's
you
no
have
person
market
there doing it.
Right.
There's no person actually facilitating the transaction. So it's automated, right? Like, that's what it is. Because I'm being educated at the same time that you're being educated.
Right, absolutely.
So does that make sense to you?
Yeah, basically.
Okay. So take me to the next step.
I guess.
So that was called what?
A decentralized exchange like Uniswap or SushiSwap or PancakeSwap or whatever other decentralized exchange.
So
They
those
all
exchanges
employ automated market makers.
automated market makers.
AMM.
So at the same time, is that these exchanges, is that like the New York Stock Exchange? Would that be considered to be something similar?
Right.
Okay, so these exchanges are like the New York Stock Exchange and the other big exchanges that are out there.
There's a
Similar
bunch
to like
of
the NASDAQ?
there's a bunch of assets listed. You would deposit your Ethereum, and then you would swap it for the other asset that you want to buy.
Okay. So the next thing you said, automated market makers. Now we talked a little bit about the exchanges, and you named SushiSwap, PancakeSwap,
and Pancake.
Uniswap.
Uni Sushi Pancake.
Okay.
There's
And those are
others.
different exchanges where you could buy and sell, and the orders will be fulfilled on an automated system. Instantly in an automated system.
As fast as the blockchain settles the transaction, but it's meant to be fast. The thing is, the more people using it, the higher the fees will be.
So why are we talking about decentralized finance today?
That's a curious
DeFi.
question. I was gonna ask why is this the new wave? Why is this so big right now? You know what I'm saying? What separates this from the traditional markets, from the traditional exchanges? Why should somebody be excited about this, or why should somebody invest their time, their money?
Let me give you a little piece of that, because we're on the phone during the week and we're talking about buying and selling dog coins, and we're talking about buying and selling cat coins. And Trev, why are you buying and selling and doing these things?
I'm buying into them because they look promising in the future. There's a lot of chatter about how these things are coming up and a lot more.
But is it really promising in the future? Like, didn't you buy and sell some Doge recently?
Yeah, I just purchased up a couple more Doge as it has started to fall a little bit.
Have you sold any and made some bread and made some profits?
Oh, absolutely. I was a dumbass and sold a big chunk off when it hit 25 cents.
Okay.
Not gonna make it.
But you took some profits, so you already made some money off of that, though, right?
Yeah, but it also taught me a lesson. Always watch where it goes, because you never know how far this stuff will take off. But
When trading, you
So-
have to let the runners run.
Okay, but at the same time, like, you already made money, so it's not really that far in the future. Like, there's an opportunity to make money today.
yeah,
these
always.
things.
That's what the whole.
At the same time, you can make more money in the long term, but in a short term game situation, you've already made some money off of it. So it's not really too far in the future. It's a conversation for today. Answering your question.
Right, I understand that. But
It's
my
happening
question would be,
today.
how is that different from the traditional market or traditional stock exchange? Because people can do that today. You know what I'm saying?
Well, one of the ways it is different is the automated. One more time.
Automated market maker.
Yes.
AMM, automated market maker.
The automate.
That's hard. It's hard.
Automated market maker, right? So the automated
Yeah.
market maker is one way that is different from traditional stocks and trading and things like that, because there's no middleman, there's nobody in an office.
A market maker isn't a middleman. It's just someone that's providing liquidity within the order book for the exchange. Like, it's just common. It's not like it's stopping your trades. They're just providing money to the order book, which makes it easier for transactions to get made.
Okay.
So when you decide to buy, the person that's doing the market making, which in a sense they're kind of watching the price go up and down in the bids and the order book, all of that, the asks and the bids, they're just gonna make sure that there's enough money so that when you decide to buy 100 coins or 100 shares of Apple, it's gonna be doable.
Okay. So now, his question is, how is it different? How is it different than traditional stocks? How is it different than bonds? Why are we moving to decentralized finance versus traditional finance?
There's no KYC or AML. Anyone can join.
That's a beautiful one right there. What is KYC?
Know your customer.
Know your customer. So know your customer. What exactly? Because I hear people use the term I don't want to be KYC'd and don't get KYC'd, and so like what's important about that?
KYC and AML, know your customer, and anti-money laundering. These are two, laws that all banks or financial entities have to abide by in order to transact in America. So if you're not KYC and your customers, making them go through sign up ID.
No social security number, no ID, no driver's
If you're
license.
not doing that, then you can't see a fine.
So you can't know who your customer is. So I don't want people to know who I am. I do not want to be KYC. I don't want them to know who your customer is. So that's also part of decentralized finance.
No, there is none of that. That's why people use it, because number one, outside
So
of
there's no knowing the customer.
outside of
You can't know.
KYC and AML, the whole thing behind it is that anybody can do it. Anybody can take advantage of the lending protocols, the insurance ones, even provide liquidity for the exchange, and just making money in general, like yield farming and so on and so forth.
How do you feel about KYC?
I mean, I'm indifferent.
Let me ask this
I
question.
really,
You worked in the finance industry before. You worked for banks and things
yeah,
like that.
sure.
So, how do you feel about knowing your customer and understanding the protocols that they go through to know the customer and know who the customer is? How does that, influence? Is that good? Is it bad? Is it good to know the customer, or should we not know the customer?
I mean, I think it provides people or some people with that level of security that they need, but for some, they feel like it's an invasion of privacy. So that's why I said I'm somewhat indifferent, because I can see both sides of the coin. So for those who don't necessarily want all their information in the hands of banks or the government or things like that, I can see why DeFi would be absolutely entertaining. You know what I'm saying? But for those who would want that security and to know that, if somebody is trying to, take my shit or,
I got $250,000.
you know what I mean?
That's
FBI.
what KYC does, though.
Right.
It's just meant to stop bad actors from transacting in financial markets. People that are funding terrorism, or,
Right.
Jared from Subway type.
How do you feel about being KYC? Do you try to avoid being KYC?
I would prefer being KYC.
You
I feel
prefer
like
it?
there's already too much information being shared without my, real consent, and for me to be able to use my money and play with my money without being known in the financial or being holding to a couple of laws being regulated. It makes me feel a little more comfortable.
So let me get this straight though. We don't want people to know who we are, and we don't want them to know how much money we have.
Correct.
That's
not what I'm saying, but if that, you
I'm
have
asking,
an
is
option.
that-
Personally, yes.
That's
You
what
have
you
that
mean. You
option.
don't want people to know how much money you have. You don't want people to know who you are
Yes.
directly.
Yes.
You want to keep yourself as private as possible.
Anonymity is key.
Now, in terms of loans and lending, like you had spoke about, what are the benefits to that opposed to the traditional method, say going to a bank asset?
Benefits.
Right. So
The
can you
benefits
explain
are
that?
huge.
Right.
Like I said, most of the time we just need to have Ethereum, your wallet, as collateral to receive a loan, and these loans are not going to make you, oh well, what are your student loans and where do you live? Are you black? Are you Latino? And are you obese? They want to
So
look into
there's
every
less
single
boundaries.
aspect to see if you're going to pay that loan back.
So there's less boundaries for entry.
Yes, way. Yes, nearly none.
Okay.
You just have to have capital.
So at the same time, you're saying you have to have capital. So you have to have capital in these coins.
Right. So you need to go from USD to Ethereum, and most of the on ramps, Coinbase, Gemini, Cash App, Blockfolio, you name it, they're all going to KYC you. So one way or another, you're going to have to deal with anti-money laundering,
Okay.
or just give up your ID, which is basically what that is. So give it
Well,
up.
I'm actually a little bit curious about the loans and lending and how you can receive a loan. How does that loan process work?
For which one?
Well, if I'm using coins and stuff, and so using DeFi, how can I get a loan in
So
cryptocurrencies and
you
Bitcoin?
would put up your Ethereum as collateral, and you would go, I think, One of them is Compound. You can receive a loan from them, and I think there's also AAVE. You can also receive a loan. You can like apply for a loan from them, and you just gotta have Ethereum that you would send to basically like not an escrow account, but something similar, and that would be like the collateral, and then you can receive 100,000 coins, for example. It all depends on how much you're holding and what you're asking for.
If I may, I have some kind of history with this as looking into a couple of loans through Ethereum and such, where you go to the interface, like you said, AAV, or whatever it is that you may use. It does give you the chance to go ahead and request as much as you would like to, and then it will give you a prompt as to how much you would have to have in a specific coin that you're trying to swap, so that you can at that moment, setting it up as your collateral, as you said. But from there, it's just paying that
So
straight off.
they don't ask for a credit score.
Nope.
They don't ask for where you live.
Nope.
They don't ask for any of this KYC, know your customer information. So they don't care to know who their customer is.
Plus, they give you a stagnant APR with it.
And
Some of these loans are at no interest as well.
So how are you paying for these?
Right.
You're putting up your Ethereum as collateral.
So, but okay, so as you're paying this loan back, because it's a loan,
Right.
you have collateral there, but how are you actually making the payments to
You
pay your loan
you
back?
would basically keep feeding them Ethereum.
So I have to continuously put more coins in, or convert US dollar to Ethereum, and then
I
make
could
my
be wrong,
payments
because
through
I
Ethereum.
haven't done it, but you would imagine it would be like this.
So I pay back my loan in Ethereum, and I receive my loan in Ethereum. So now, when I receive
Or,
it,
well, you can get it in a stable coin. You can get it in USDC or whatever,
okay, so you receive it in some sort
whatever
of
you
coin,
decide.
whatever you decided to be received in. How am I using that loan today?
If we're gonna
I
trade,
want to purchase a property. I'm not going to use a traditional bank
Mhm.
to get my loan. I'm going to use this new method of DeFi to get my loan that way.
you would need an offer.
And how am I going to convert that to pay for the home?
You will need an off ramp to take whatever asset you're getting, you borrowed, I should say, and from there it would be for you to once you have X amount of whatever you decided to swap for or to borrow, you would take that off the exchange, or you would have that in your wallet already, technically speaking, and it'll be from there for you to take it somewhere else, get it in actual cash. So if I have in a wallet, I received a bunch of stable coins, like $100,000 in stable coins, I would transfer that over to Gemini or Coinbase, or wherever that same stable coin is listed on an actual exchange that I could trade out for USD. Unless the real estate agent is already accepting stable coins as a form of payment, then you don't have to do that. But anytime, let's say I borrow, an M worth of Ethereum, right, $1 million worth of Ethereum. If I want to take that off once it's sitting in my wallet, that money I just borrowed, if I wanted in USD, I would have to go through Coinbase or Gemini, or an OTC market, over-the-counter market where it's just big transactions take place, in order to get that in USD. And then you would have to deal with, showing your ID, making sure it's you, just so it's all verified.
So how's that different from the traditional, barriers of entry that everybody faces in,
I think
current traditional finance?
from listening to him, the main difference is the initial entry point, that there's no barriers to it. You know what I'm saying? Like there's no, you have to know that person's credit score, they have to do this, this, and this. No, they have Ethereum and they have money into Ethereum already, well then that's what they can do, what they need to do to get that loan. So I think that's the biggest difference, that initial entry point, and I think that's huge.
I mean, I see that as being kind of a really good thing for people that are having a hard time getting loans. And the only barrier to entry would happen to be is you actually have to have some sort of collateral.
That capital.
You have to have that capital built up in Ethereum. You have to have that first step already taken care of,
Right.
and understanding how to purchase Ethereum, how to buy it, how to, get in the game and get that collateral before you get a loan.
Right.
So I mean, I see that being as the barrier of entry, but for those that have a little bit of capital, you leverage that and get yourself a nice little loan.
Right.
It could push you forward from there.
Now, what do the numbers look like compared to, say, like a traditional loan? Because I know you spoke about like.
No, it could be whatever it depends on how much you have in your wallet as far as Ethereum. So if I got like 500 coins and I want to get it $1 million loan in Ethereum, it's all depending on like what they demand as far as collateral. So you would always put up something as collateral to receive this loan, because it's algorithmic based.
So there's no actual person facilitating
You're
these
dealing with a
transactions.
protocol.
There's no person. This is goes back to that. Well, how did he say it?
An automated market maker, correct?
That has these lending things don't have to deal with it. That's just for when you're trading assets on something like Uniswap, Sushi, or PancakeSwap.
Okay.
So
That's
that
when
wouldn't
it
apply. That wouldn't apply to when they're trading a loan to you.
When you're doing the loan, that doesn't. Yeah, there's already a algorithm that's
So, but is there a person on the other side giving you out this loan?
negative.
So how are you like? How is that conversation happening? Is there no conversation?
It's a smart contract.
a smart contract. Oh, break that down.
So a smart contract would be something where, for example, I send my coins to a wallet, and that smart contract spits back what I wanted. So if I was sending, basically like it's meant to do something. If I send this, else. If I send money to you, you give back to me. That's a very basic way. There's a lot more to it. But
Okay.
a smart contract is meant to do something. It's meant to have a purpose. Once you interact with it by sending it Ethereum, you will receive something.
Okay. So, smart contract to you. What do you think is smart contract? How does, based on what he just said, how does a smart contract benefit people? Or either one of you. I mean, what do you think? Smart contract. How does that benefit, us in the future?
I think it allows, I think it allows Black people personally to break out of barriers, being able to get past that point where a lot of other people had been stopped by the centralized markets as we've come to know them so far.
Okay. How about you? What do you think?
What I think is that, like Los talked about, because it's just a standard protocol, there isn't necessarily a number or interest rate or APR that we would have to worry about based upon like credit scores like we talked about. I feel like it can give us an opportunity to have a loan that can be beneficial to us to get what we need done. You know what I'm saying? To be able to convert that and use
What are some of these things that we need to get done?
I'm not gonna give it all away. I'm not gonna do all that, but I would just say what people need to get done is first and foremost, you would want to have that first rung. You need to have that earned income, so you want to have a job, you want to be able to save, budget, etc. And then that way you can put money aside to put into these other avenues to make you more money. And so I would say that that's the first thing. The second thing would be taking that money to generate, cash flowing assets. That's always the goal. You know what I'm saying? So that's kind of what's on our mind.
So this is on the same track to putting on the trajectory of cash flow. So you still want to be working in your personal finance. You still want to be
right.
providing and producing cash flow
Yes.
in the future.
Yes. Absolutely.
And this is on track with that. Do you think it's better than the traditional version of finance?
Say that one more time.
Do you think it's better than the traditional version to use this DeFi, considering there's less barriers of entry?
I would honestly say that at this current time, I would utilize both, so that way when that paradigm shift, like we spoke about the other time, does occur, you're already educated on what those things are, so that you can make that transformation or make that transition seamless.
Okay. Do you think this is better than the traditional version?
Yes.
Just in general.
Just period. Everything about our previous system is racially based and completely just terrible. So if y'all want a bigger or better explanation, a smart contract is a computer protocol intended to digitally facilitate, verify, or enforce the negotiation or performance of a contract. Smart contracts allow the performance of credible transactions without third parties. One of the best things about the blockchain is that because it's a decentralized system that exists between all permitted parties, there's no need to pay intermediaries or middlemen, as some like to say. And it saves you time and conflict. Blockchains have their problems, but they are rated undeniably faster, cheaper, and more secure than the traditional system. Henceforth, yes, fuck the traditional system.
And soon enough, you'll be seeing banks and government starting to use smart contracts. You already got, I think it's, I can't remember which protocol it was, but they're already giving banks a sandbox of playing to get used to trading with these decentralized protocols as far as lending and insurance and stuff like that. It's already like big banks here in America already like trying to get used to it.
So at the same time, like, would banks hire less people? Would this become
Smart
automated?
contracts will kill jobs.
How does this like help the banks out? How do they benefit from using smart contracts?
They don't have to, like I said, I think it will kill jobs for sure, and I think it'll make things a lot more seamless, faster, efficient.
So this is a possibility for a future paradigm shift as we discussed to occur.
Yes. It's loading up.
It's already happening. It's
Loading
loading.
up.
It's already in the process. It's already going.
This changes the entire career path for a lot of people.
Learn to
In
live
the
it.
sense of what career paths and
I mean, how
things
many
that they
people
do.
go to school to be accountants and such in banks? How many people end up not going to school, working in a bank, and then become a loan officer?
A lot.
So all those jobs are gone. It changes banks how they operate entirely. Now they're going to have to start operating with Bitcoin. Banks are going to have to start recognizing
Not
stuff.
Bitcoin, but
You know what I mean? Just coins in general. Because there is this shift coming, and it's going to change a lot. If they don't move with it, they're going to get left behind, and they're going to go to be second place where a lot of places were first before.
So what's open? What's next? Instead of working these traditional jobs and working these traditional ways, what's actually going to be needed? What's actually going to be, an avenue for new generations coming up?
I would say first and foremost education. So
TikTok, UFC.
But
It's
Gambling.
I would say education. The more we can learn about it, the more people can know about it, the more we can build upon it and actually use it as a new infrastructure to take over that traditional path that was there before.
But at the same time, like things don't change. People still need to eat. People still need to live somewhere. People still need,
And
to
that's
go
why I
buy
said,
food places.
right. And
So
that's
like,
why,
do people need to go start working in those industries instead of trying to go work at a bank?
right. I would say just like we talked about before, because that transition hasn't fully happened yet, you still need to have that traditional path, but you need to be educating yourself and getting involved in that world, that DeFi world. Because like I talked about before, when it does happen, if you aren't educated, you will be left behind. So you need to do your part and educate yourself, have your foot in the door, so that when it does happen, you know what's occurring, you know what's happening, so you're a part of that shift.
Now, I must say this, as far as DeFi goes, there is a huge risk involved because unless you do the proper vetting and, you're basically auditing what you're investing in, you do risk losing your assets. There is such thing as impermanent loss, which is when you invest in something, in an asset, and then, all development ceases and the developers take all the funds that were in that pool, the pool being the liquidity pool where people, they donated or gave their needs in order to receive this other coin. And a
Or they're able to
developer could
pulling their
rug
assets they initially invested.
pool, and just run off with all the money, and then that's it. You just took a loss. Unless somebody else takes over the development of that project and revives it again.
What are some of the ways to protect yourself from that happening?
You gotta know what you're doing. You gotta really read.
Really study and read what you're investing
You gotta
in.
read
understand.
exactly. You gotta make sure it's
So
the correct
are you-
smart contract, and you gotta read about the product itself and the people behind it. At the end of the day, when it comes to investing in any currency, you're investing in people. You're investing in the teams behind these projects, these protocols, these coins, whatever they may be.
So do I get the information from the white papers? The white
I mean,
papers are like
from their website.
from their websites?
Yeah, the white paper just tells you more about the product itself and what they plan, and then you got, basically you wanna read the website, you wanna read the roadmap, and then if you want the white paper.
And so where do I find these things? Am I finding all those links just on their websites?
Yes, yeah, you'll see the roadmap and you'll see the white paper on their website. But as far as like, the people.
So the white paper is kind of like their business plan.
The white paper is like a technical paper that explains what the protocol is, what they want to do as well. Sometimes they don't include a roadmap in it, but other times they do. And it'll basically just explain, what the coin is meant to do.
So every coin does have something that they're meant to do or some sort of a plan behind it.
Yes.
Okay.
Even a scam.
So what about Doge?
What
You
about it?
know, what's one of the coins that we know, that you might know what's behind it, what's the plan or what's the reason they created it for?
Doge is just a meme coin. It was just meant to,
That's what I understand.
It
Doge
was just
was
created to
just
just,
to be a joke.
Well, I've heard a
Jackson
lot
Palmer.
about Cardano or something
Right.
about something like that.
It's useless. They don't even have smart contracts implemented.
Okay.
It's meant to, like, this coin's been around since 2016, 2017. They don't even have smart contracts, and they're meant to be a smart contract platform. To me, it's not a scam like it's totally pumping, because you got to consider people are going to come into cryptocurrency space. They're going to see assets that are under $1, and just due to the simple fact that it's such a small number, they're going to think that it's going to 10x, 100x. So they're going to invest in these coins. That's why when people were coming in back in 2017, they flocked to coins like Ripple. And I mean, it's a bunch of them, and everything pumped back then, and everything's pumping now. But that doesn't mean that in the next 5 years, these coins are still going to be around.
What about that new coin, the new dog coin? What's it called? I think it's that one.
Oh, that was busting off.
Yeah, why? What's behind it? What's
Internet meme coins.
It's just a meme coin
It's
as
just a
well.
meme.
There's nothing actually behind it. There's no foundation behind
Animal
it.
and dog food
It
coins.
just has, an animal face. It looks
Yeah,
cool.
animal
coin,
food
something
coins.
that goes by.
There's nothing actually happening
My
with it.
bag.
But you can still make money off it.
Yes.
There's still the possibility.
I
of
mean, if
making
you
money.
do research and come in and get out,
There is no research to be done. You ate into these
You
investments.
just
and
do
you
this.
hope. Listen,
You
you,
just
hope.
hope.
You hope to get in early as possible before other monkeys jump in and ate into the same investment.
But
and
those
before you
ones
get rug
aren't
pulled.
actually real. But they have the ability to do the same thing AMC and GameStop did, and they do have the ability to grow on the basis of nothing.
That's why you got coins like Shiba Inu, like Ethereum's co-founder, Vitalik Buterin. He got 1 billion coins, and he basically sold them all and just tanked the price.
But he made money.
He didn't want to make money. He gave all the proceeds to the India COVID fund.
But at the same time, there was some growth.
Right. Yeah, no, it pumped.
I
For
mean,
sure.
that in itself
The
is its own.
people that created this coin just donated a bunch to Vitalik to his wallet because they knew it's like a public thing, and he held the coins. And then at some point, it was like, whatever, I'll sell it and do something good with it.
So some things are, they had the opportunity to actually do something, have a goal in mind. Others don't have a goal, but they created the process.
Yes.
They do have a coin. It's there. It exists, but there's nothing actually behind it. There's no
They
basis.
serve a purpose.
They're just there.
and then you said website, roadmap,
Yeah.
white paper.
Right.
Okay.
In the website, there'll be about the team. There'll be a roadmap listed, and there'll also be a white paper, or just something like an abstract, something that was easily digestible. But yeah, if you really want to do your research, you want to read the white paper, and then you want to see what people are talking about this coin on Twitter or on all social media. You want to see what the buzz is like. Most importantly, it's all about the people. You're always going to be investing in people.
So where do you suggest that people do their research? What's
Um,
some good places that they can find some information to make sure they?
You gotta be in Discords. You gotta be in Telegram groups. You want to be on Twitter. You want to be just soaking up knowledge.
So is this information you can't just Google this and just find it?
You can, but you're not gonna find the latest coins just off of Google. Like it'll be too late by the time. Somebody might have read a blog or something about it, but you want to. The only way to find investments is to be on Twitter and to be, like I said, in Telegram group chats with
What are some of the places on Twitter that I could look up?
There's Twitter topics. You can just select cryptocurrency, and then from there, their whole timeline will be
And
just
that's
it'll
the
be a
newest,
flood
that's
of
the
all
newest,
top cryptocurrency things will be flooded to your timeline, and then from there, you can just a bunch of sites as well. You got sites that just aggregate information like CoinGecko and CoinMarketCap, and you got Masari.io, which is almost like institutional level information as far as cryptocurrencies go. And teams are verified on Masari.io, so the coin will be verified because the team has checked in with them and gave actual information about it. So it's not if it's a scam, it won't be listed on there, or if it's listed, it just won't be verified. So it'll be on you to do even more research.
You said Masari. How you spell that?
Masari, MESSARI
Cool.
.io.
So have you invested in cryptocurrencies as well?
Just a little bit, just Bitcoin. They put me on to other joints. trying to get involved in investing into some other altcoins as well.
What's some of the barriers that you're having, you know, maybe issues or some of the reasons you haven't gone a little bit deeper into it so far?
I just like to somewhat take my time and make sure that I educate myself well, just so that I don't do anything crazy or like, you know, put myself in a situation where I'm like, oh damn, I don't know how to get myself out of or anything like that. So I just like to take my time and make sure that
So you want to know the ins and outs of
yeah,
the whole.
So
exactly.
there's a bell curve, right? On the left hand side of the bell curve, you got 20 IQ individuals. In the middle, you got 80. And then on the right hand side, you got over 120 IQ. Mark right now is in the middle, and that's why he's not going to make it. So all these investments that are pumping right now are for low IQ individuals. People are coming in, they're looking at CoinGecko, they're looking at CoinMarketCap, they're scrolling through the pages, looking at just like the icon. Oh, it looks cute, I want to get in. And what happens? These coins end up pumping.
Yeah, but he's gonna learn the ins and outs, and he's gonna know how to hop in and, and how not to hop in.
Okay.
Just how to get in, how to get out.
That's fine. You know, you can always make money. You know, you play it slow. You have a plan. I'm not knocking that at all, but yeah, he's still not gonna make.
He just needs to get in right now. So, what's the avenue that you say that you think he should possibly get into?
Avenue?
Yeah, I mean, how should he do it?
I mean, what do you want to do? Do you want sound investments, or do you want to ape into a meme coin?
Well, we're talking about DeFi today, so maybe a smart contract or something like that. How should he?
No,
You
they're
know,
mostly
what direction should he generally go in?
smart contracts power just about everything that's on the Ethereum platform.
Okay.
So what should you do as far as like what? Like do you
Where do you start? Like, how do you get started?
started okay, so you would download an app like Coinbase or Gemini, you would link your bank account, you would start buying Ethereum. From there you would take that Ethereum over to MetaMask. And MetaMask allows the browser, so like Google Chrome or whatever you're using, to talk to the wallet. So MetaMask holds your Ethereum. MetaMask is now you connect your account to Uniswap, SushiSwap, whichever one you're using, and now with that Ethereum you can start buying coins directly. So you would just link your wallet, right, and it'll say swap, and then underneath where it says swap, there's a field where you would insert the smart contract. And once you like click swap, you can put in how many coins you want and the slippage, like 1%, 2%, or whatever you want, like 20, if you really don't care, like what the slippage, about the spread of the price went up or down. And then you will click swap, and then it'll show up on Etherscan, which is a website that shows what's going on the blockchain. So you can look at your wallet, you can type in your wallet address, copy and paste it over from MetaMask onto Etherscan, and you can see everything that's going on. Like, you know, all your transactions, what's pending, what got rejected in case you did something wrong. And that's kind of how you would just see it. So
That's a lot. That's a lot right there. You gave a whole bunch right there. You know what I'm saying? Like, are you still following?
I'm
Is
listening.
that all
I'm
that?
definitely following.
I mean, I guess you could rewind.
You need a USD on ramp, which would be, you know, your bank account connected to Coinbase or Gemini. You would buy Ethereum on either one of those platforms. You would send that Ethereum to your MetaMask wallet. MetaMask connects to your browser, which will be talking to Uniswap or SushiSwap. Once you connect it, you can just start trading.
Okay. So the first step is just buying some. That way you have something, you have that collateral if you want to get into, you know, getting some smart contracts.
If you want to avoid the IRS, you cannot be using shit like Coinbase and Gemini, because you'll will KYC.
That's if you want to avoid the IRS. Like I said earlier, I had a little epiphany. I don't know that I want to avoid the IRS. I might want to play with them, you know. I want to be friends with them. They might be cool with me, you know. But
They're the biggest crooks.
that's all right. They're my best friends. You know what I'm saying? They make rules and regulations so I can play and get stuff for free. But that's for a whole nother day, a whole nother discussion, you know. they just give stuff away. You just gotta know what their rule book. You gotta play with them. But at the same time, you know what I'm saying? The first step, you know, running it back for this episode of, you know, Quantum Talks. We're definitely gonna have to start off with making sure you get in the game, learning the first steps, get yourself some Ethereum so you have the ability to get some smart contracts and avoid barriers of entry.
Yeah.
That way you don't have to play with the banks until, you know, they start offering the same thing. So, less barriers of entry. Anything you guys want to say? No, guess that's it. That's it. Quantum Talks. All right.
Good host, yeah.
Good.
Alright, that's a cut. Everybody go on lunch, 15 minutes, be back.
Now we got the camera down. Mine turned off.
It's just down on the storage.
No, it's not picking up anything.
It is, that one, that camera had the whole
This one?
water bottle.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
All that crap was, I mean.
This one's clear.
This one is good.
I don't know if you guys like